Welcome to Help for Hashimoto's, a podcast for those of you dealing with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, hypothyroidism, and other autoimmune disease. I'm your host, Stephanie Ewalls, a certified nutrition specialist and licensed nutritionist. My goal is to give you hope and help for your Hashimoto's. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not meant to diagnose and treat. Please see your doctor. All right, welcome to episode 185. We're going to talk about managing your glycemic load or managing your blood sugar for thyroid and gut health. So let's get started. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Again, I'm Stephanie, a licensed nutritionist, and I'm passionate about functional medicine. And today we're going to dive into a topic that's critical for managing Hashimoto's, glycemic load and sweetener choices. And this is very fitting, given it is the end of the year and there's going to be lots of sugar coming our way. If you're dealing with fatigue, brain fog, or gut issues, how you manage sugar and sweeteners can make a huge difference in so many things regarding your health. So we're going to explore how to reduce glycemic load, choose gut-friendly sweeteners, and support your thyroid health, all while keeping things simple and doable at home. So let's grab a glass of water or maybe a low-sugar, veggie-based smoothie and get down to it. Why does glycemic load matter for Hashimoto's and for your health? All right, let's do the basics. What is glycemic load and why should you care if you have Hashimoto's? Glycemic load measures how much a singular food raises your blood sugar based on its glycemic index. That's how fast it spikes your sugars, your blood sugar, or glucose, as it would be called in the scientific community, and the amount of carbs in a serving. So let me say that again. It's measuring how much a food raises your blood sugar based on its glycemic index. So that's how fast it spikes your blood sugar and the amount of carbs in a serving. So the formula is simple. Glycemic index times the grams of carbs, so you can look on a nutrition label, divided by 100. High glycemic load foods like sugary drinks or processed snacks cause rapid blood sugar spikes, which can stress your body, increase inflammation, and worsen your Hashimoto's symptoms. For those of us dealing with Hashimoto's, which is probably most of you given the name of the podcast, keeping blood sugar stable is a game changer. It really, really is. I promise you that. Unstable blood sugar can fuel inflammation, it can mess with your gut microbiome, and it can even make your thyroid function more sluggish. It's also a big deal for gut health, which is super important since a healthy gut supports oral tolerance. So that's your immune system's ability to stay calm around food and not overreact. When your gut's out of balance, it can trigger autoimmune flares, making symptoms like fatigue, joint pain, or brain fog worse. So today we're going to talk about how to manage glycemic load by reducing sweeteners and choosing ones that support your gut and thyroid. So the first step to managing glycemic load is cutting back on added sweeteners. And as a functional medicine nutritionist, I see so many clients with Hashimoto's who don't realize how much hidden sugar is sneaking into their diets. Let's break down some practical ways to reduce sweeteners and reset your taste buds, all while keeping your meals delicious. First, I'm going to confess, I have been eating way too much sugar lately. I was doing so well, having done the Biocidin Botanicals protocol to get rid of bugs and fungus, which completely took away my sugar cravings. Then I started to feel great, which always means I'm going to test things and test my body. And I started back in on eating things with sugar in it. And I'm not talking fruit, I'm talking treats. Little by little until I was eating it really pretty regularly. Then Thanksgiving hit and I baked some gluten-free apple pie bars and I made the recipe as is. I usually cut out sugar, but a lot of people don't like, and my family don't like how little sugar I put in things. So I made them regular. And so I made the apple pie bars, blueberry crisp. I attempted to make macarons, which turned out horribly. So I never filled them. I just ate the macaron cookies. They tasted fine. They just looked terrible. Ate those all myself. They weren't all that sweet. But I ate them all in a matter of like 4 days. And I also made pumpkin pie, and there might have been something else. I can't remember at this point, even though it was only a week ago. But anyway, I ate a lot of sugar some nights for dinner because I was home alone for a week. I just had a quarter pan of apple pie bars for dinner, which I don't recommend to anybody. And this is just going to show that I am not perfect. I'm not pretending to be perfect. I'm not dogmatic. I'm not, telling you do one thing while I do another. I literally struggle with this myself. I don't expect you to be perfect, but the moral of this story is that I have had low energy, more sugar cravings, and really, really, really crappy sleep. I feel bad. It has affected my mood. Then the whole guilt thing piles onto that, for eating the sugar, and then, probably gaining back a little bit of weight that I had lost when I gave up sugar earlier. So all thanks to sugar. And my body does not like it when I eat sugar. If I eat regular cane sugar or beet sugar, I immediately feel full and bloated and gross. So I know that that's how it makes me feel, and yet the cravings are real, folks. So it's a struggle. The struggle is so, so real, and I'm right there with you. I know how to make it go away, and yet sometimes I just continue to eat it. So I'm working on it. Anyway, so we're going to first cut out unnecessary sugars. Added sugar is hiding in 74% of packaged foods, according to the University of California at San Francisco. They have a really cool website called sugarscience.ucsf.edu. So you can go read all about how horrible it is for you. Americans consume 57 pounds of added sugar each year on average. Daily added sugar limits for women are 6 teaspoons or 25 grams. For men, 9 teaspoons or 38 grams. And children, depending on the age, 3 to 6 teaspoons or 12 to 25 grams. Check labels on processed foods. Things like granola bars, yogurt, even sauces can be loaded with sugars under names like corn syrup, dextrose, maltose. Swap these for unsweetened versions to make your own at home. So for example, try plain yogurt with a handful of berries. Very, very delicious instead of the flavored stuff. Berries are low glycemic and won't spike your blood sugar like a fruit juice will. Now, on top of all of that, there are 61 names for sugar that can be found on food labels. Way too many to list here, but in general, look for any word ending in OSE, like dextrose. That signifies it's a sugar. Lactose is a milk sugar. That OSE always indicates some type of sugar. And then anything ending with the word syrup. Then there is the odd ones like dextrin, barley malt, and then add those two together and you get maltodextrin. There's something called pinocha, treacle. There's so many more. You can go to that website and you can find all of those names for sugar, and then just, again, the more you know, when you know better, you can do better. I really, really, when I make sweet things, I always cut the sugar down, except for this one time I decided not to. I did make the pumpkin pie with lower sugar, just because my body feels so much better. And I'll do things like coconut sugar. If I do brown sugar, it's usually half the amount. and I seem to tolerate it okay. I tolerate organic sugar better than non-organic sugar. I'll give you another example. My sister-in-law makes those chocolate peanut butter Rice Krispie bar things with the corn syrup, and she always uses cheaper ingredients just because she doesn't care or know any better. So the chocolate coating on the top is a mix of chocolate chips and butterscotch chips, and they're always, really cheap versions. Corn syrup. And the peanut butter is usually a really cheap version of peanut butter. I had 2 of those bars and my whole body started to itch. So if you're noticing symptoms like that, you can usually bring them back to sugar in some form. All right, now the second thing to do would be to prioritize whole foods. Fresh fruits like raspberries or apples have natural sugars, but they come with fiber, which slows down absorption and keeps your glycemic load low. An apple has about 8 to 10 grams of fructose locked in fiber compared to 37 grams in a 16-ounce glass of grape juice. So that's a huge difference. And I do want to say, if you start your day with protein, loads of protein, I ate probably half a pound of venison breakfast sausage yesterday. Felt great all day. My blood sugar was stable all day long. I did have some peanut butter cookies that I bought at the food co-op that afternoon, and then I slept like crap last night. So I was up several times. I don't feel like I ever got really good REM sleep. Why I do this to myself, I cannot tell you. All right. The third thing to do would be to use natural sweeteners sparingly. Honey, maple syrup, molasses even. These have trace minerals in them. So they're going to be better for you in that regard. And they have been a part of human diets forever. But moderation is key. A teaspoon in your tea or your coffee is fine, but you really don't want to overdo it. Finally, you want to recalibrate your palate. This part is key. If you're used to super sweet foods, start cutting sugar in recipes by 10 to 25%. I do this for sure with my banana bread and nobody notices. You can also lost my place because my computer had a pop-up on it telling me to switch my microphone. You can also dilute sugary drinks with water. So, I don't do sugary drinks. I would say for kids, if you're going to give them things like apple juice or orange juice, dilute it with water. But if you need to have a sugary drink, then dilute it. Or, you can switch out your pop to something like stevia or do sparkling waters. So if you need the bubbles. I bought some raspberry vinegar at a farmer's market this summer, and I put that in sparkling water and it's delicious. I've been making water kefir, and I did I just added vanilla extract to water kefir and then refrigerated it, and then I mixed that with the raspberry vinegar and the sparkling water, and it's really delicious. So there's ways you can get other fun things in. Water kefir is not hard to make, and it's a nice alternative if you don't like plain water. So anyways, over a few weeks, your taste buds will adjust and you'll crave less sweetness. And you probably will notice you'll start to feel better. Inflammation is kind of going to come down. You can also try sour or umami flavors to mix things up. So sip some warm bone broth, before a dessert, or have a pickle, and then have a pickle when a sugar craving hits, and it can help shift your palate. Now let's understand the different types of sweeteners. Not all sweeteners are created equal, especially when you're managing, autoimmune disease. So we're going to break down the main types and how they affect your blood sugar and gut health. So you have your caloric sweeteners, that's table sugar, or it's sucrose, and fructose. They're the ones we're most familiar with. Sucrose has a glycemic index of 65, meaning it raises blood sugar moderately. Fructose, found in fruits and honey, has a lower GI of 25, but here's the catch. It's metabolized by your liver, which can stress it out in large amounts. Think high fructose corn syrup, leading to insulin resistance or inflammation. Bad news for us with Hashimoto's because those things just exacerbate our disease symptoms. Natural sweeteners like honey or maple syrup also contain glucose and fructose, and their glycemic load depends on how much you use. So, for example, a 16-ounce Coke has 52 grams of high fructose corn syrup, way more than a 5-gram serving used in glycemic load calculations. So it's going to spike your blood sugar big time. Natural non-caloric sweeteners like stevia and monk fruit are great options because they have zero glycemic load. Stevia from the stevia ribaudiana plant. I'm saying that wrong, I know I am. It's 200 to 400 times sweeter than sugar. So a little goes a long way. And it might even improve insulin sensitivity, which is awesome for Hashimoto's. Monk fruit with its magrosides is also calorie-free, but heads up, a lot of stevia or monk fruit products sneak in sugar alcohols like erythritol, so always check the label. Stevia can cause bloat and gas, and it is said to cause low blood sugar and blood pressure in some people. It has an aftertaste that many don't love. You can try the powdered leaf form. It's, the green powder, which would be better than the highly processed form, but it's not a sugary taste. It just tastes weird to me. Monk fruit is often combined with erythritol and cannot be used in whole form because it is a melon that goes bad very quickly once it's ripe. So the morgosides are extracted, which is the sweet part of the melon. I do use Lakanto, I think is the brand. They have a liquid monk fruit that I put in my matcha. And I'm okay with that. I do also have the granulated sugar form, which is mixed with, I think, xylitol. But nobody really likes the taste of that in baked goods, so it's really just sitting there not getting used. Sugar alcohols like xylitol, erythritol, or sorbitol have a low glycemic impact, but because they're not fully absorbed, your body doesn't always tolerate them well. So erythritol is the easiest on your gut with a tolerance of about 0.66 to 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. But if you have IBS or gut issues, which are common with Hashimoto's, too much can cause bloating or diarrhea. So you want to really start small with this. Then there's something called inulin, which is a unique prebiotic sweetener. It's a fructan found in foods like asparagus, onions, or bananas. And it doesn't raise blood sugar. It actually feeds your gut bacteria, which can help with digestion and inflammation. I don't know that I've ever seen it used as a sweetener necessarily. I know that it's in a lot of prebiotic products, like supplements. So I can't really say much else than that about it. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame or sucralose, we should really steer clear of. They can mess with your gut microbiome and glucose regulation, and aspartame's even been flagged as a potential carcinogen, so avoid that one if you can. If you like to chew gum, get spry gum. You can chew that. It's got xylitol in it, and there are many, what would you say, clinical cases, not necessarily, scientific studies, but a lot of anecdotal or clinical case studies where chewing xylitol gum, frequently has reversed cavities. So there's that. All right, let's talk about fructose a little bit more because it's a big deal for thyroid health. Fructose has a low glycemic index of 25, like I said, which sounds great, but it's not really that simple. Unlike glucose, which every cell can use, fructose, again, goes straight to your liver for processing, and in large amounts, like from soda or processed foods, can cause insulin resistance, raise triglycerides, and even increase uric acid, which is linked to high blood pressure and gout. All of these stress your body and can worsen your symptoms. And fructose doesn't trigger insulin or leptin, the hormone that tells your brain you're full. That means it can leave you hungrier, leading to overeating and more inflammation. So compare an apple with 8 to 10 grams of fructose wrapped up in fiber to a 16-ounce grape juice with 37 grams of free sugars. The apple will be way gentler on your system. And as they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, so eat those apples. It's a great time to buy them. There's also allulose, a rare sugar derived from fructose. It's low glycemic and might improve glucose tolerance, but it's still new and not fully studied. So I personally wouldn't use it at all, but use it cautiously if you're going to use it, and stick to whole fruits for natural sweetness. They're packed with fiber and nutrients that keep your blood sugar and your thyroid happy. How are we putting this into action? Here's a simple plan to lower your glycemic load and support your gut and thyroid. You want to read labels like a detective. Every package you pick up, flip it around and read the label. What's in it? How much carbohydrates are in it? How much total sugars? How much fiber? If you see monk fruit or stevia, always look for erythritol to be the main ingredient, because it probably is. You want to mix and match your sweeteners. You can do, honey or maple syrup, cut them in half, add a pinch of stevia to lower glycemic load while keeping things tasty. This also helps with satiety, which is key for avoiding cravings. I just want to also be clear that I'm not recommending regular use of things like this, but there are going to be times when you're going to have something sweet, and that's okay. You just want to be mindful of that and know what you're putting in your body. Focus on gut health. A lower sugar diet supports your gut microbiome, which is critical for oral tolerance and calming autoimmune responses. So the more you can support good gut health, the better off you're going to be. You can add those inulin-rich foods like garlic or leeks to feed the good guys. And then monitor your body. Bioindividuality is huge when you're talking autoimmune disease or any chronic health condition. You may need to keep a journal to track how sweeteners affect your energy, your digestion, or your thyroid symptoms. Like I said, I know I've been messing around with too much sugar and it's affecting me. I am so tired today. My head feels heavy. I slept 8 hours minus getting up 3 times to go to the bathroom because I drank some kombucha in the afternoon yesterday. But otherwise, I just don't think I got good deep sleep. So I cannot wait to go to bed tonight. And then think context. A sweetener like stevia might be better than high fructose corn syrup for blood sugar, but it's not a free pass to use it endlessly. Moderation is everything. So managing glycemic load isn't just about blood sugar. It's about reducing inflammation, supporting your gut, and giving your thyroid a break. For Hashimoto's, really giving your immune system a break. For Hashimoto's, a balanced gut microbiome can improve, again, oral tolerance, meaning you won't react to as many foods when you eat them. So that's less food sensitivities, less immune system chaos. But don't stop at diet. You also, remember, I say this almost every week, stress, sleep, movement, they all play a role in keeping inflammation in check. So try yoga or a daily walk to complement your low sugar diet, and work with a functional medicine practitioner to address other triggers that you might have. The best part, though, is you can start these changes at home. Swap that soda for a berry smoothie, sprinkle some maybe some stevia leaf on your, some sort of thing like maybe your yogurt. Experiment with honey in moderation or maple syrup in moderation. Small steps add up to big wins for your health. So that is it for today's episode. I hope you're feeling empowered to take control of your glycemic load and make smarter sweetener choices. If you love this episode, share it with a friend who's navigating Hashimoto's, and drop me a note on Instagram at Out of the Woods Nutrition to let me know how you're tweaking your diet. If you want personalized help, visit outofthewoodsnutrition.com, go to the Get Help tab, and then work with me to book a call to see if we're a good fit. I will let you know honestly if I think I can help you or not. Thank you so much for tuning in. Also, while you're at my website, you can sign up for the definitive guide to Hashimoto's. Here's to thriving one low sugar step at a time. See you next week. Thanks, everybody.